Hello, my name is Rowlands. I am a nutritional balancing practitioner from the UK and England. And in this video, I wanted to talk about something called Accutane. Now, Accutane is a drug primarily used for people that have acne. And in all fairness, doctors do try and use it as a last resort just because of the serious side effects that it gives to people, in my opinion, quite a lot of the time. And regardless if somebody doesn't get any side effects, I can assure you now that it is doing damage to the body, and often these side effects will crop up in the long run. Now, not many people realise that Accutane was originally developed for cancer, and it didn't really work, and they realised that actually what it does an incredible job of reducing acne, and basically they rebranded the packaging and kind of sold it as a acne product. Now, the drug is basically a steroid drug, so it's a pure form of vitamin A. So it's a very highly potent drug, and unfortunately, it comes with a lot of side effects. Now, we all know acne can be terribly damaging to self-esteem for a lot of young people. But in my opinion, my experience, there are much more healthier ways of dealing with acne, and much more powerful ways that do not cause any of the side effects that Accutane has. If you are thinking about using Accutane, or you're a parent and your children are wanting to use it, I would highly recommend not to use it. It's just not worth it. Yes, acne is a difficult thing. I had it myself, so I understand the terrible issues that it brings. But in my opinion, it's just not worth it. The vast majority of the time, acne clears up in a few years for most people. For people that it doesn't, usually there's a deeper underlying chemical issue. But regardless, the method that we use to deal with acne is actually much more powerful. But just to kind of talk to you a little bit about some of the side effects, I mean, at the end of the day, if these side effects are actually on a drug for something as kind of, in many ways, trivial as acne, I understand, as I will keep reiterating, it's not a nice thing to have acne. But at the end of the day, if some of the side effects are things like depressed mood, increase of suicidal thoughts, sleep problems, trouble concentrating, blurred vision. This vision can actually become permanent eye damage for a lot of people. I do believe this permanent eye damage can be reversed because I've done it myself with visual snow. Severe headaches, pain behind the eyes, hearing problems, seizures, severe pain in upper stomach, loss of appetite, severe diarrhea, chills, joint stiffness, joint pain, back pain, dizziness, dryness of the lips, mouth and nose, cracking of peeling of skin, etc. Now, for me, that doesn't justify selling this as an acne product. There's just too many serious side effects, and it has literally ruined many people's lives. I understand a lot of people will be listening to this video. Well, probably not, because they probably won't be looking up how to deal with acne side effects. But obviously, a lot of people, scream and shout to the rooftops how good it is, because at the end of the day, it does clear up acne. However, as I mentioned before, if you are taking it, it is going to be stored up in the liver especially, and I can guarantee that it will have done damage to the body. So basically, Accutane, in my opinion, and from what I've seen, it kind of creates this systemic problem. It doesn't really target certain areas of the body that it kind of attacks, I suppose. And basically, anyone that's suffering from Accutane damage basically is suffering from a systemic whole body issue. So it will definitely affect things like the liver, especially very toxic to the liver. It will affect the adrenal glands. It will affect the brain. It will affect the jaw. A lot of people get TMJ, etc. The main reason is because it has a serious effect on zinc loss. Zinc is actually the highest concentrated in the jaw, and basically when you're taking Accutane, a lot of the zinc kind of comes out of the system from the jaw, so people end up getting TMJ issues, muscle issues, kidney issues, and it damages the eyes, etc., etc. So you hear a lot of people on the internet kind of telling you how to heal from Accutane, and it's very remedial. You know, it's either concentrate on neurology, concentrate on the adrenals, concentrate on the liver. In my opinion, that's not going to work too much. You have to come at this at a whole angle to basically rebuild the system and help the liver out. So when the Accutane gets into the body and it starts stressing on the adrenals, one of the biggest problems that we have today in general anyway is the serious lack of zinc in our diets, and this causes a myriad of different issues, and it's kind of combined with a lot of adrenal burnout. The vast majority of people today suffer from some form of adrenal burnout, far more than what they did 10 years ago. So when you're given a drug that kind of puts a massive amounts of stress on the body and increases many people's liver toxicity more so than what it usually does, and reducing the zinc, that's going to cause a hell of a lot of problems. Now, when the adrenals are low, and I'll speak about this a lot on this channel, because I do believe it's actually a pandemic, this is the copper imbalance or copper toxicity. And basically this happens when the body is stressed out, and particularly when it's stressed out, it uses up a lot of zinc because that is a calming mineral, and because we're lacking in zinc from our diets, etc., what we get is this increase in copper, and this can actually cause a lot of symptoms. I would probably say that, you know, Accutane does cause these side effects, obviously, but I believe that probably indirectly. So you get Accutane, which puts a lot of stress on the body, and it will increase copper, and you'll get things like vision problems. You get things like an increased depression. You get things like spaciness and insomnia. It's because it's actually, you know, releasing zinc, and it's increasing things like copper. It's increasing things like mercury and aluminium and lead, because the body cannot detox anymore because the liver's toxic. So when these get high, you get things like forgetfulness. You get things like feel more manic. You can feel more depressed with lead, etc. You know, when the copper's high and zinc's low, you get like joint stiffness and muscle weakness, etc. So you can understand kind of having the Accutane kind of shoots off in many different areas, and you get this kind of systemic problem that's very difficult to kind of fix when you're trying to come at it at a linear approach. So I took Accutane when I was younger, when I was about 16, and I attribute it a lot probably to my health problems. I was severely depressed. I got visual snore. I'm trying to remember. Really dry skin, which lasted after images, light sensitivity, all this kind of stuff. And basically what I use and what we promote on this channel is nutritional balancing. Now, nutritional balancing basically does an excellent job at rebuilding the whole body as a unit. And there's various different things that Accutane kind of increases or makes worse, and nutritional balancing kind of works at all angles to kind of deal with that. So the thing that we kind of promote is an increase of minerals, an increase of nourishment to the body. Basically, kind of when the body's healing, it needs as much nourishment as possible. As I mentioned earlier, today's foods are really lacking in nutrients, really high in toxic metals and toxic chemicals. So the more nutrients we can get into the body, the better. It's really important as well to understand that a lot of the reasons why people find it difficult to heal these days, and something that nutritional balancing, in my opinion, is a kind of separate from the majority of other programs, is the idea of balance. Now, the body is kind of either in certain balances, just like the Earth's in balance and the universe in certain balances. And a very, very simple and effective way of describing balance is through yin and yang. And basically, yin and yang you know, can be used to describe balance, can be used to describe the nature of positive and negative. And basically, our bodies today, through various different reasons, are very, very yin in nature. So obviously, in order to become less yin, we need to become more yang. And a lot of healing modalities today are actually very yin. Although on paper they sound really good, they're not actually healing people. In fact, they're making people a lot worse because you're adding yin upon yin, and it's making it worse. A lot of these healing modalities were excellent 100, 200, 300, 500 years back, when the earth and people's bodies were just not as yin. So actually probably more yang in nature. So we used to do yin modalities, and it kind of used to balance things out. So that's something that's really important. A lot of people do things like fasting and cleansing and juice detoxes, which sounds good, but they're actually very yin and make people worse. So what we do is we give a yang diet, which is full of root vegetables, which has some meat involved. We do things like coffee enemas, which will help detoxify the liver, which gets really, really toxic when people are doing enemas. We give people things like sauna therapy, which is extremely, extremely good at detoxifying all these heavy metals. If you think about it, Accutane kind of really puts the body under a lot of stress. So the body's natural detoxification is just not working properly. In fact, all it's trying to do is survive, basically. It hasn't got the energy, it hasn't got the nutrients to detox. So what we wanting to do is nutrify the body, give the body what it needs, and then the body can more easily detox. But we need extra detox protocols because the bodies are too sick and doesn't have enough energy, basically, to push out these toxins. So sauna therapy is excellent for that. Something that we recommend, a special type of sauna therapy called near infrared sauna therapy. We give people targeted supplements. Again, a few hundred years ago, the bodies probably could detoxify much easier. Probably wouldn't need supplements. The food was much more healthier. Even organic food today is not very full of nutrients. So we give more supplements for more nourishment. Also, it helps with detox. Also manages to balance out the metabolism and oxidation rate, which is very important. We give a special type of mental exercise and meditation. A lot of people that get this copper toxicity because of Accutane and various other different things tend to get a racing mind. It keeps people up at night. So trying to shut that off will actually detoxify this copper as well, which is very important. Other things like lifestyle changes, just learning how to rest more. A lot of people that get themselves into this stressful state will tend to get themselves into a kind of a sympathetic fight or flight chronic state. The world today is so stimulated. It's just full of different things that we need to do. We've got to do our job. We've got to look after the kids. We've got to, run to the post office. We've got to clean the house. It's just so much more intense than what we used to, and what actually a human body's designed for. So we get ourselves in this chronic fight or flight because the body's stressed out even more by Accutane, and people struggle to shut that off, and it just kind of makes things worse and gets people into a catch-22. So we do things like lifestyle changes to kind of tell a person to slow down, get to bed at a certain time. The sauna therapy is excellent at kind of switching off that chronic fight or flight. And when we have various other different things like teaching people how to breathe properly, teaching people, how to reintegrate themselves back into a natural environment, and in fact, the health program is vast. We have about 1,500 different articles on various different things. So, yeah, basically, overall, healing from Accutane is definitely possible. I would be very wary of anyone that says, we just need to focus on this, we just need to focus on that, remedial. I don't think that's a possibility. What we do is we use something called hair mineral analysis to kind of see what a person's minerals are like deep within the cells, which is a much more accurate way of seeing exactly what's going on inside a human body. And that gives us a good test to kind of see, right, this is what's the problem is, give you a program to deal with this mineral pattern, and then in a few months' time we can check it again, see the differences, refine things. So it's very, 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 very interesting in that respect. So that's pretty much everything. Realise that the bodies today are far too yin, So you'll hear a lot of people try various different things and it won't work, even though it sounds very good. Unfortunately, this is a secret nowadays to healing the body, is to understand this fine balance that everything in the world has, the fine balance between cells, the fine balance between work-life, the fine balance between vegetables and minerals. Everything basically has an opposite, and basically we need to realise the challenges that we have in today's society, and whether they're a little bit more yin, a little bit more yang, and realise what a human body needs in this specific time period to get ourselves rebalanced. So hopefully that's opened your eyes a little bit, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.